On November 16, 1957, police in Plainfield, Wisconsin, entered one of the most horrifying crime scenes in recorded history on a remote farm. They discovered a house decorated with body parts of women, waste paper baskets made from heads, chairs covered in human skin, and masks made from triple faces. It was all the work of one man, Ed Gein. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Before we get back to the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Let's get back to the video. So who was Edward Theodore Gein? Edward Theodore Ed Gein was a serial killer from the United States. Only 2 murders were found to be the work of Gein. Many people believe that Gein is even more well known because of the several films that were partially based on him. He was also known as the Butcher of Plainfield, the Plainfield Butcher, the Mad Butcher, and the Plainfield Ghoul. On the 160-acre farm outside Plainfield, Wisconsin, their mother raised Ed Gein and his brother Henry. She was a devout woman who cherished her sons and guarded them fiercely. She kept them occupied with farm labor and away from ladies. In 1940, his drunken father passed away. Several years later, on May 16, 1944, his brother Henry officially passed away while battling a grass fire, though there was evidence he was murdered by Ed. His mother experienced her first stroke shortly after that. She suffered a second stroke in 1945 and passed away. Ed was left alone. Then Gein locked the doors to the home's upstairs, parlor, and his mother's bedroom. He resided in the big house's one other bedroom, kitchen, and shed. Due to a government program that provided him with a subsidy, he quit working the farm. He earned money by performing modest jobs for locals as well. Ed studied literature about Nazi concentration camp experiments and human anatomy. Everything caught his interest, particularly the anatomy of women. In 1947, he was first vandalized. He once came across a newspaper article about a woman who had just been laid to rest. The first corpse was discovered in a burial not far from Gein's mother. In fact, according to one report, one of the first grave robberies included his mother. Gein kept up this practice for the following 8 years. He would frequently look for new bodies in the newspaper. He regularly visited the cemetery during a full moon. Gein would remove the entire female corpse or just the desired portions, replace the dirt in the grave, and take what he had stolen from the grave home. With the dead bodies, Gein performed numerous odd things. He would construct things out of skin and bones. The organs would be stored in the fridge to be consumed later. He was accused of having sex with the bodies as well, necrophilia, but he denied this since they smelled too bad. Later, Gein began to commit murder because he reasoned that newer bodies would be better for his collection. Mary Hogan, a 51-year-old divorcee and proprietor of a neighborhood pub in Pine Grove, 6 miles from his home, became Ed Gein's first victim. He used his .32 caliber revolver to shoot her in the head on the afternoon of December 8, 1954. He returned to his shed after placing her body in his pickup vehicle. When a client wandered into the pub, they discovered it to be empty and covered in a sizable bloodstain. Nearby was a spent .32 cartridge. Bloodstains spilled out the back door and stopped next to what seemed to be a pickup truck tire tracks in the parking lot. Mary Hogan appeared to have been shot before being removed. Police were unable to get any information regarding what had occurred to her. A sawmill owner named Elmo Ewick spoke with Gein about it a few weeks later. "She's not missing, she's currently at the farm," Gein retorted. He didn't explain what he meant by that to Ewick. In the years that followed, there might have been further victims. Prior to November 16, 1957, when he shot and killed Bernice Warden in her Plainfield business, nothing is known for sure about Gein. He used a .22 rifle he picked up from a rack in the store and a bullet he had on him. After closing the shop, he drove the body home in the pickup owned by the business. Gein took the cash register as well. Frank Warden, Bernice Warden's son, frequently assisted her with the store. He'd gone deer hunting that morning. When he returned, the store was shut with the lights on, and his mother wasn't there. He also observed that the cash register was missing and that the floor was covered in blood. Frank Warden spoke with Art Shelley, the sheriff, and described what he had observed. He looked over the list of purchases made that morning. for a half-gallon of antifreeze, one of them. Warden recalled that Ed Gein had dropped by the previous evening right before closing. He'd promised to return for the following morning with the antifreeze. He assumed Gein had planned a heist since the cash register was stolen after learning Frank wouldn't be there. Warden informed the sheriff of this. 7 miles outside of Plainfield, the sheriff and Captain Lloyd Schofoster went to the farm. When the cops arrived, Ed Gein wasn't there and the house was dark. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe to never miss an upload. They followed Gein's customary route to the grocery shop, where they saw him prepared to board his truck. He was stopped by the sheriff, who ordered him to board the squad car so that he could be questioned. Before Gein indicated that he believed someone was trying to frame him for the killing, Sheriff Shelley remained silent regarding Bernice Warden's passing. At that point, Shelley arrested Gein. Along with several officers, Sheriff Shelley and Captain Schofoster returned to Gein's home. The shed door behind the house was unlocked, but the house's doors were locked. They discovered a woman's naked corpse inside, hanging from a crossbeam upside down. Wide gaps separated the legs, and a long cut run from the genitalia almost to the throat. The head and throat were gone. The genitals and anus were likewise absent. Bernice Warden had been dissected and made to resemble a deer. In the dark house, there was no electricity. They were forced to use oil lamps, lanterns, and flashlights to search it. The environment appeared to have not been cleaned in a long time. The few rooms that weren't nailed shut were jam-packed with unwanted items, including cartons, tin cans, old papers, periodicals, cutlery, and books. Authorities searched the home and discovered whole human bones and fragments, waste basket made of human skin covering several chair seats, skulls on his bedposts, female skulls, some with the tops sawn off, bowls made from human skulls, a corset made from a female torso skinned from shoulders to waist, leggings made from human skin, masks made from the skin of female heads, Mary Hogan's face mask in a paper bag, Mary Hogan's skull in a box, Bernice Warden's entire head in a burlap sack, Bernice Warden's heart in a plastic bag in front of Gein's pot-bellied stove, 9 vulva in a shoebox, a young girl's dress and the vulvas of 2 females judged to have been about 15 years old, a belt made from female human nipples, 4 noses, a pair of lips on a window shade drawstring, a lampshade made from the skin of a human face, fingernails from female fingers. At the State Crime Laboratory, these objects were photographed before being destroyed. When questioned, Gein admitted to investigators that he had made as many as 40 nighttime trips to 3 nearby cemeteries between 1947 and 1952 to dig up recently buried remains while he was in a daze-like state. He claimed that on around 30 of those visits, he emerged from his stupor in the cemetery, left the grave in perfect condition, and left empty-handed. On other times, he exhumed the recently deceased, middle-aged ladies whose graves he believed resembled his mother, carried their bodies home, and tanned their skins to create his paraphernalia. The Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane received Gein. He was shown to be mad. The physicians believed he liked his mother, but the truth was that he despised her, which is why he killed elderly women. According to legend, Mary Hogan shared his mother's appearance. He denied being a cannibal or a necrophiliac, according to Gein. He acknowledged grave robbing. The actual nature of the crime piqued the interest of many people. Thousands of people drove to Plainfield to look at the murder farm. Eventually, an unknown person or persons set the building on fire. On March 20th, 1958, residents of Plainfield believed the old farmhouse to be a demonic location. Following the arson, the farm's artifacts were auctioned off, with the Gein's Ford death cart fetching the highest price. Gein was deemed mad around Christmas 1957. Gein was sent to Warpen State Hospital for the remainder of his life after being convicted of killing Warden in 1968, despite being legally insane. At the age of 78, Gein passed away from cancer in Madison, Wisconsin on July 26, 1984. He was interred in Plainfield adjacent to his family's graves. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Let us know in the comments your thoughts regarding Ed Gein. Take good care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next one.